All right. So, hello, you two. I think today we're just looking to have a casual conversation just about, of course, transformational technology, but I think specifically today we're going to talk about the Healy device and just how that has shown up in our own lives, how we've been, what called us to maybe work with it to begin with, and I think what programs are we working with that the Healy frequency device offers that we found useful for our own lives as well as for maybe our clients. And yeah, if there's just really any kind of key takeaways, not only just on the healing side of the frequency medicine, but also where we see the device itself kind of applying in our own lives, as well as being that we are three more entrepreneurs in the wellness space, where do we also see this applying in a bigger kind of schema of where we see technology and ancient wisdom kind of starting to overlap. So Allison, I would love to hear from you just because you are the light queen and really have been working, I think, for the longest out of the three of us in the technology space of wellness, just to hear from you and what your perspective is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun to have this conversation. So yeah, I've been very curious about the Healy device for a while now. I first heard about it at the beginning of the year. And initially I was a bit skeptical because, for a few reasons. I was excited on the fact that there was a device that was putting out different frequencies and interested in kind of the microcurrent aspect of it as a means of delivery of frequencies, but then also interested in the fact that there was some kind of like scanning aspect to it. And that to me is really exciting because I think that a lot of times working in the transformational tech world or even in the trauma healing world and all of that, there's just this curiosity about like what's actually happening, like how do we work with what's showing up for us. Maybe we feel like a slight difference, but how big is that difference, and like is it measurable, and where am I really at? Like tell me what's going on. So I was really excited about the Healy on that side, and so when I got it, Michael got me excited about it as well in our conversations, talking about different ways to work with it. And, the frequencies aren't something that you can personally program in, but they actually have all of these pre-programmed sessions in there. And there's more than you can imagine. So when I first got mine, it was almost overwhelming because I kind of just scrolled through these pages of different programs and I'm like, I don't know what this means, but it's exciting. And so it's been really fun journey trying them out and really feeling the difference in myself. Mm-hmm. And I would say that for me, the regeneration program has been really positive. So actually the first day when I got my Healy was Adam and I had just been on a light trip and we had driven for 12 hours in one day, maybe even 14 hours the day before. And anyway, I was just kind of exhausted on a level that I couldn't really kind of come back to myself. And, it's almost like jet lag when you've been traveling that much. And so I was just scrolling through the programs in the Healy, like, what am I going to try? And the first program I decided to do was called Regeneration. And it reminded me of like nerves and kind of coming home to yourself and, regenerating your cells. And so I got really excited about it and actually put it on and then totally forgot I had it on. And I was just talking to my roommate and hanging out. And the program was about an hour long, which seemed really long to me in the beginning. But then when the hour had completed, I just felt this kind of jolt towards the end. And I realized like, wow, I feel totally different. I feel back in my body. I feel like grounded. I feel like I've kind of caught up to myself in a way. And then I started just getting really excited about it because there had been a part of me that was like, this could be too good to be true. Here's a little portable frequency device that can, do all these things, but is it going to really work on that level? And so I got really excited with that first session because I could just tell that I had shifted so much and felt that difference. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yes. No, thank you. Yeah, I definitely, it resonates with me quite a bit to say, oh, well, we could do this, we could do that, and almost getting lost in the kind of idea that there's 140,000 frequencies, I think kind of accessible from the frequency catalog that the Healy device can pull from. But it's nice that there's these protocols that are already pre-designed that can kind of run through the whole litany of kind of adjusting this and then adjusting that, and just like a piano tuning, where once you change something here, then something's going to change here, and so you kind of have to keep edging all the different keys along so that you can kind of get that harmonic state where everything does really sound good all together and working in harmony and in unison, which is of course what we want our body and homeostasis to get to. So yeah, I love that. And Adam, I know you've been a little bit more newer on the journey, but I've also been kind of diving in on using it on a daily basis and using it for some different things. So yeah, curious to hear what has been alive for you.
Yeah, and as you can see, I'm actually using it right now, and before this call, I was just tuning in with, hey, I'm about to be on a call. I might as well throw on the last of the Gold Series programs that I have left to do, and just have that going on as I'm doing this other thing. So that's one of the really nice things I think about, what the Healy offers is it can be, fairly quote unquote passive. Now, I also yesterday did a program, actually the same one, and was very present with it. So I've engaged it from a couple different angles, but my journey with it was very kind of a just intuitive feeling kind of thing. Like I did a program with Allison one day, and then she brought up the fact that there's this opportunity to get this right now. There's a good deal. I didn't research it at all. I'm kind of one of those people that if something feels right, I just move forward with it. I don't get too hung up on the mental details, although in a lot of areas of my life I do get into that. So it's fun and interesting when it shows up that powerfully, where I'm just like, yeah, I want to buy one of those and see what it's all about. And since I've gotten it, I think it was only a little over a week ago, I have used it at least once a day, and I find it to be very subtle and nourishing at the same time. There's a deep practice in my life of meditation and really honing the what's the word I'm looking for? The subtle sensitivity in my body to really feel. I work with frequency meditations, and the light, and all these other things, and just feeling into how subtle can I experience my body. And what I found with the Healy is that if I do pay attention to what's going on, the channels of energy that are moving through my body will move in different ways.
Yeah.
And certain programs I've had, I feel it like kind of like in the exterior of like my eyebrows. Like all of a sudden I'll feel like these little kind of pulsations right there. I'm like, wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Moving throughout my entire field. And the fact that I can do it right now, have a conversation, and be working to balance my body, to bring I think it's the microvolt of the individual cells into alignment, to do all these things, and it's not the only thing I can do at that moment. Like when you're meditating, you can't really be meditating and like doing other things. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
So there's practices that are very engaging, and you have to be there. So you have to set aside this like block of time. Like I have to give an hour to that, and I can do nothing else. Where this is nice because I can be doing other things and giving my body this benefit. So that's been my little take on the journey up to this point.
Yeah, and I love that you brought up the fact that as myself being an entrepreneur as well as you both, that we can apply this in ways to pretty much bring that idea or connotation of meditation back into an active practice. I think especially when you have developed a certain muscle acuity and a skill set to say, oh yeah, I know what that feels like. This can kind of bring you back into that presence mode, especially because you are wearing it, looking at it, seeing it. You're choosing a protocol to run through. There's a number of ways that does kind of start the process and actually can start that whole chain of habits of when you do kind of get yourself set up for meditation, and then applying that kind of frequency during that 20 minutes to 60 minutes that you run the program. it can basically give you a lot of, I think, the complementary benefits that happens during meditation. And of course, I would say that none of us are advocating that this is just a replacement for everything, but what it is I think a complement to another tool to let both the mind relax and not try to control everything, and to have trust in some practices and processes that I think the device can really align with. And at the same time, having protocols for focus, for memory, for learning, for also sleep, for pain reduction. There's so many things that can maybe distract us as we go through each day, that this can pretty much be another thing to just make sure we're doing as much preventative work as well as a little bit of maybe reactive. Of course, if we are experiencing flight or fight or anxiety, I've definitely used the device in moments where I have lawyers or developers or these things that kind of create this natural contraction inside myself, that I'm like, I don't like this feeling. I'm not really thinking through things. I'm not actually in my heart space when I want to be connecting with these people and really hearing where they're coming from. This device has been really revolutionary to me from that standpoint. We work with a number of people that have used it for sleep, have used it for allergies. There's a number of other things that this can also bring back some homeostasis too. So really appreciate this conversation just around what is our basic general attraction to something like this, as well as where do we see it kind of going. Of course, there's other things that I think we'll get into in later conversations around how this, of course, can also be something that as teachers, facilitators can weave this into their offerings and actually do this as a value add in unison with what they're already doing, and potentially also not making extra time, so that you do hook up the device, the frequency device, during the 15-20 minute intake where you're just kind of dropping in with somebody. You're basically setting intention for whatever it is that they're about to do as well. And I think that can be so meaningful in our busy world of go, 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 and then it's hard to have the shift and the downregulation into presence and allowing whatever practice modality is being administered. I think this can just be such a great way to create both a greater impact of what the other service or modality offers, as well as it can really be a great way to actually develop a deeper relationship with clients, create more consistency with them coming in, and really understanding that neuroplasticity doesn't just happen in a second. It takes some repetition and a little bit of trust and a little bit of discipline. And I think that when we can have things that just like a wearable like Fitbit, and of course using the smartphone technology to run the protocols, and we can see when's the last time I ran this program, and just having some tracking and accountability with things, I think we can really set ourselves up for a good place for success of whatever that looks like. So thank you guys for, I think, kind of jumping on here. We're going to keep this nice and sweet and quick, and we'll continue on to another component of our exploration on the next episode. So thank you guys.